222.
You are watching Sports and Sorts live on YouTube. That's 75% sports, 25% sorts. And here are your hosts, Shane and the Bry Man.
All right, we're back. I just got a notification that Sports and Sorts went live, so I need to go. Gotta go watch this. I've heard it's a hot new show that's been on the air for like 47 years.
Yeah.
239 episodes.
Yeah. Wow, 239, huh?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Between podcast and video.
What's ironic is that that's probably the same amount of people who have seen it. Total. You're laughing because it's true. I'm just being hard on myself.
Clint watches, and he has like them all. Like he's got a bunch of different dead accounts, ghost accounts. Comes on and watches them from all different angles.
Yeah. That's great. Still one person.
No, it's a clone. It's a conspiracy theory.
A clone? Oh, it's conspiracy theories. Oh, speak of the devil.
Anyway, that's something we're going to be talking about today. We have a couple things that we're going to talk about today. One of them being the start of the MLB season, the ideas that have been floated out there and seem like, I don't know, there's like a coin flip that it might actually happen or something. I don't know what's going on with that. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to get into some conspiracy theories we wanted to start. And I even have one that I really wish was true. And it's not, because it's a conspiracy theory, but we're going to do our best to put on our tinfoil hats and say hi to Clint.
Mine is really outlandish. I just want to put it out there. It's ridiculous, but it's one I wish was true.
I like it. What's up, Clint? And yes, go Bills. Like I said last week, they're going to win the division. Woo!
That's not really going on a win.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Sure it is.
They're clearly the best team right now. As soon as Brady left.
I don't even think it would have mattered.
By the way,
Brady was smart by leaving.
Brady was on Howard Stern last week for almost 2.5 hours, and I will tell you that it did nothing to make me dislike him any less. I still hate him.
Really?
But it was an interesting interview. He did give Howard a couple of different scoops that I thought were kind of interesting. One was apparently he had a very rocky moment in his marriage to Gisele Bündchen, but the other big one I think was at the he said he knew at the beginning of last season that was going to be his last year as a Patriot.
Wow.
Yeah, he knew before they took one snap. He knew. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he would know because he'd be like, I'm not going to take a third of what I can make, so yeah, probably not going to be here. And Bill's not going to.
I mean, for obvious reasons, I wish this had happened 5 to 7 or 8 years ago, because then we would have had still a very much in his prime Brady separating from Belichick, which would have opened up the AFC East a little more, but also would have given people a chance to see, okay, so which one of these guys really is it?
Yeah.
But it was funny because Howard pushed him on. He's like, he outright asked him. He's like, who was it? Was it you or was it Belichick?
And he said both.
And he's like, he did say both. But I thought his answer was, I mean, I'll give him credit. I think the answer was probably the best answer he could give, and it was probably the most accurate, because he's like, look, I can't do Bill's job, and Bill can't do mine. He's like, I can't do what he does on the sideline. He can't do what I do on the field. He's like, we needed each other, and we've acknowledged that to each other, that, we could not have done this, without one another. He's like, I've admitted it to Bill. Bill's admitted it to me. He's like, he's like, yeah, we really did need, this would not have worked without both of us together. But I would have loved to have seen a Brady more in his early to mid 30s away from the Patriots on a different team, and Belichick without him. I mean, obviously for selfish reasons, again, to have Brady out of the AFC East would have been nice, and to have to see Belichick do this with somebody else.
Yeah.
And then Howard was, of course, trying to goad him into saying, are you, you're the greatest of all time, right? And he was like, I can't say that. He's like, because he was asking him like about Montana, and he's like, I can't say that I'm better than Montana. And he's like,
damn right you can't.
He's like, you're full of shit. Well, I mean, that's another conversation for another day. I do not believe. I mean, listen, I've always said the same thing when it comes to GOAT quarterback status in the NFL. And I still believe it's Johnny Unitas, and I will always believe it's Johnny Unitas. And do I love Johnny U? Yes. Did I have the opportunity to meet him? Yes, which was amazing. It sort of felt like being in the presence of a deity, but I do believe I believe Johnny U was the greatest, because I believed that Johnny U in today's NFL would be unbelievable. I think he would be, first of all, with the quarterbacks protected the way they are, also the toughness that he had, the passing accuracy that he had. And I believe that he was so ahead of his time. Johnny Unitas was so ahead of his time. He was a passing quarterback in a Jim Brown league. I mean, that was unheard of. And the number, he had some numbers that stood the test of time for a long time until it really did become a quarterback league. Once you started to get, like into the 90s more, when things started to turn from the running back, and the emphasis became on the, went to the quarterback, and a lot of, he was a 40,000 yard passer, and that was ridiculous for that time period. Quarterbacks were at best game managers in the 50s and 60s, at best. And he was way ahead of that. So I'll go to my grave saying Johnny U was the GOAT, but it's fun.
Would have been interesting to see Montana without Rice, said Damian. You got to see it in Kansas City.
See again though.
It was at the end
Montana was old.
He still had some magic though.
He had some. It wasn't quite the same, obviously. And you did see Rice without Montana too, because he went to the Raiders. But again,
he also did well.
He actually did do well. He did really well. I think. Did he have 1,000 yards that first season? I want to say he did.
Probably.
I think he did. I think he had a really good season. Well, listen,
him and Tim Brown, is that who it was?
I've always been. Yeah. Well, were they together? They might have been. Both would have been towards the end of their careers, but I've always said that Jerry Rice, to me, is the greatest football player, period, who's ever lived. And I mean, of course, it's arguable. Everything is arguable, but I think the reason I've always made that statement is because if you look at Jerry Rice, the separation between him and the next best,
Jerry Rice, in year 39 and 40, had over 1,000 receiving yards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. He had 9 touchdowns in year 39, and year 40 he had 7.
Yeah.
And even in his 41st year, he had 869 receiving yards.
Damn, he really was the fucking best. He was the fucking best player ever to play the game.
He did not have over 100 catches in any of the years, but he had 92 in year 40, and he had 83 in year 39.
Well, he was the ultimate yard after catch guy. I mean, there were so many slants over the middle, but he's just one of the best route runners ever. I still believe he was the best. He was the most well-conditioned player who ever played. His workouts, he would try to get like other guys to do them, and they would throw up because they couldn't do it.
Well, Larry Fitzgerald was famous for talking about that, right?
Yeah, yep. And I declare Fitzgerald is one of the top 5 receivers ever.
Great. He's great, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, we got completely off track.
It's okay.
Although I don't really know that there is an off track today. I'm on vacation this week, so we've got plenty of time.
I don't think there's an off track until the track gets back.
Yeah, right. There is no off track right now.
There's no track.
Every topic is open for discussion at this point.
So yeah, that was pretty impressive. And I'm going to pull up Montana's now too, just because, I just want to see what he did when he was in Kansas City, which I think he did. He definitely threw for over 3,000 yards.
Yeah, I remember too who he had on that team.
In year 37, his first year only played 11 games.
Yeah.
And he had 2,100 yards. But his second year he played 14 games and he had 3,200, almost 3,300 yards.
Okay.
16 touchdowns, 9 picks. Not great.
No.
He was 37 and 38. So
Yeah.
coming off an injury, a bad injury. So yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
I mean, the most touchdowns he ever threw in one season. What do you think it was?
Montana?
Yeah.
If I had to guess, I don't know, 35?
31.
31?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that was never his, he wasn't
never. Yeah, he was just clutch.
Yeah, yes. I mean, that's his legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I really never liked him. I still don't, even though I have his autograph over there on a Notre Dame picture, but I got it free.
Look at those Marino numbers, on the other hand.
Now, again, like I love, Twitter is just, flush with, what would Dan Marino be in this era of football. And I think the statistics he would put up would be jaw-dropping, mind-boggling, staggering. I think he would pass for 4,500 to 5,000 yards on an annual basis. I think he would throw close to 50 touchdowns every year. He'd be Pat Mahomes. But maybe even
Mahomes is a different beast because he's mobile too.
He's mobile. But Marino was maybe the most accurate quarterback, though. He might be the most accurate quarterback to ever live. Okay. And if you put him in this era where accuracy is at such a premium, I can't imagine anybody being better. And I can't imagine a team with him at the helm not winning multiple Super Bowls. Just can't picture it.
All right. I like it. All right. So now we're going to go. We have some things to talk about. Like I said, we spun the wheel of sorts. We don't know exactly what we're going to call it yet. It's a working title. We are going to come up with something eventually. Feel free to name it if you'd like. But we came up with a wheel of sorts, and it was the conspiracy thing. So it was conspiracy theories you'd like to start. So if you have any of those, to go ahead and post them in the comments. We'll read them out loud. I think that
conspiracy theories you would like to start.
Yes. So there's many things that you could.
I think I'm gonna start this one.
Excellent. I can't wait.
I think I'm gonna start.
I'm more excited now than ever. Because you really want this to happen. So that's great. So we're going to do that. We're also going to talk about movie theaters and how we think that the theater going experience could change, or just how we take in movies in general could change. I know I'm sure you've read some of the headlines with AMC theaters, and how there's likely going to be bankrupt very soon. They have a very small margin that they have. Their margin is like lower than grocery stores, and grocery stores have a very thin margin to make money, and this is really impacting AMC theaters. Now, will somebody like Disney or Amazon or somebody like that go in and buy AMC theaters to keep them alive? Yep. I don't know. Are people going to still go out to the theater like they did?
That's the part I want to dig into.
Will something like drive-in theaters become more popular again? Could I don't know. There's a lot of different things that could happen. Do they just start trying to stream? But if that's the case, if movies completely go to stream, what's the quality going to be like? How much money is it going to cost to watch a movie to make it profitable for the actors and the directors and everything to make all that and spend all that time? Will the quality of cinema go down? Like,
are we talking about this now, or are we starting with?
Let's get into it.
You want to go to that? All right, let's do that.
Let's get into that right now. Oh, you know what? Let's put it off. We'll start off with the MLB. We'll start off with the MLB because this is sports and sorts. So let's start off with sports. Okay. Sports and sorts. So we're going to get – Clint just says Pats are cheaters.
No, with a question mark. He's wondering if that's my conspiracy. That's not a conspiracy.
That's not a conspiracy.
It's a fact.
It's true fact.
It's an absolute fact.
Just like the Kurt Schilling fake bloody sock. I mean, complete fact. It's fake.
I go back and forth on that one.
I could be talked into it either way.
I could. I go back and forth.
But I just don't trust Kurt Schilling. So, like, whatever he says, I don't trust him. Like, talk about conspiracy theorists.
I know multiple Red Sox fans who just want Kurt Schilling to shut up. So, I mean,
everybody wants Kurt Schilling to shut up.
Does it really matter whether it was fact or fiction? He still pitched great in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, who cares?
And it makes me mad. It still to this day makes me mad that they didn't bunt on him enough.
Yeah, right,
And they're
exactly.
stupid. Like
Right,
you
right,
take
right.
advantage of a weakness. You don't.
Absolutely.
So dumb. If it's true, if he was, and even if he was faking it, he
Yeah.
would have had to fake. He would have had to fake that,
Right,
and then
right.
there wouldn't have been as much aura if he like went and planted and threw and it
Yeah,
was
exactly.
fine.
Right.
The aura wouldn't have been there around it because like,
No.
oh, well, who cares? He's
Right.
fine. Yeah, it's bleeding, but he's fine.
Because if he had to plant like 2 or 3 times,
And he was fine. Then
and
it
he
would
was
be like,
fine,
oh, I
or
think it
even
might.
if he
Yeah,
even if he was able to full speed get it, plant, make the throw, but then like sort of fake hobbled afterwards, like, oh man, this really hurts.
oh, so, and then he just steps on the mound and like poof,
Right.
pounds.
Right.
98-mile-an-hour fastball,
Right.
down Broadway. Anyway, let's get into MLB baseball. MLB baseball or just
Yeah.
MLB?
Yeah.
I hate Schilling. Damien, who is a diehard Red Sox fan. I hate Schilling, but the sock is a red herring. No pun intended. He had the surgery and he still got on the mound. It's true. Sure.
According to Tim Curry and Clue, communism is a red herring, though.
So let's get into the MLB start of the season. We have baseball contemplating, possibly having baseball happen, realigning the divisions, doing all sorts of crazy stuff, getting rid of the National League, American League. There's like all of these crazy things that are possibly going to happen. And also they can start the season and then do it in Arizona. There was one that was like just in Arizona. All the teams are going to go down to Arizona to play there. No fans, straight from the hotel to the ballpark back to the hotel, and that just like secluded and all that kind of stuff. There's so many reasons why this will not work, but like then you have it like where they were going to do, Arizona and Florida, and like all the teams that play in Florida are going to go down to Florida, and all the teams that play in Arizona, and that's going to be your American League, National League kind of divisions. And so crazy. And the one thing that is the craziest about this is like how do you get this to go through? Like, I understand Major League Baseball might want to make this happen, and they might try, but even if they did, how are you going to get those people that are 1 year or 2 years away from their next big contract? Yeah. How are you going to get them to play in this and do this and be secluded from their family? And they're going to have to take a pay cut this year to do this because nobody's making any money. Like, I mean, granted, there's a lot of money coming in from the TV, but how many people are going to watch without fans being there?
Oh, I would. I mean, we're so starved. I think we would all watch.
I just find, well, it's not going to be as entertaining. They're going to have to do something different.
Yep.
Without having the fans and seeing everybody go crazy, that adds it. It's just like in the sitcoms and stuff like that, where you see like they add the laugh track in, and it makes you laugh. And if it's not there, you just kind of like sit there. Yeah, you grin, but you don't laugh.
Yeah. Listen, my position on this is incredibly simple. There's just no logistical good way to do it, because all it's going to take, this is going to be like Rudy Gobert over again. All it's going to take is just one guy to test positive. The whole thing is done.
Yeah.
And what are the chances of that happening? I would say incredibly high. Incredibly high.
And I think
you're still putting a bunch of people together in like hotels. I mean, somebody's going to get it. And once one person gets it, that's it. Shut down again. And then it just feels like we go right back to square one.
That's pretty much what Damien just said. He just said you can't fully quarantine everyone who needs to be involved. The logistics are just too difficult. They can't do this.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
The other thing is, and A-Rod was also, I think he came out and said this. He was saying how you can't just keep testing all of the baseball players.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just do that. Like, you can't just test these guys over and over and over again without actually testing other Americans and other people that are being affected by this. Like,
exactly.
You have to. You can't just use up all the tests on them.
Right. Because we're so fucked up and so far behind with being having testing available that it'd be great if we could test baseball players every other day. But you know what? Because our dumb fuck president couldn't get his shit together and didn't take this thing seriously, we don't have enough tests available to us in this country. So I mean,
our show might get shut down.
Oh, well, maybe. Whatever.
Conspiracy theory. If the power goes out.
Well, that's going to happen anyway because we're hitting like 65 mile an hour winds here. So.
# true facts. All right. So This is a crazy thing that I just don't see logistically how it can happen. I don't see
It
how
can't.
financially it can happen.
Can't.
So if you're a baseball fan, I'm sorry, but 2020 season might be.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, same thing with basketball. Same thing with hockey. Which is, I feel bad for those sports too because they were coming towards the playoffs in their seasons,
and
that's
LeBron. They were likely the favorites to win it all, and I don't think that's going to happen now.
Yeah,
and they're
and
going to come
that's
back next year, and the Golden State Warriors are going to be good again because they're going to be healthy. The Nets are going to be
the Nets. Yeah, Durant.
they're going to be healthy again.
Yeah.
This was a year for him, and now he's not going to get it because
It's
of that.
And at his age, wasting years is not a luxury he can
He's
afford.
not 28.
No.
This is different. So that stinks. These are all things that you're losing out on greatness and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes down to it, this is a severe issue, and you have to do these things, and it sucks for so many different reasons.
It does.
And sports is kind of on the lower end of all that.
It is.
Although you're getting a lot of people who aren't being able to really pay, they're not making the money that they need to for their families because of this. I mean, it's such a huge business. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's just
cue the Bruce Banner walking.
Well, I was telling you, I was telling you before we went live.
The one sport that will likely survive this and will be able to play again is golf. I could see that happening because the season's so long, and on top of that, they've already moved the Masters.
It's the ultimate social distancing sport,
right? Well, not with the fans.
Well, no, but I mean, if you have no fans,
but I'm
saying if you have no fans, it's the ultimate.
Their plan is November for the Masters now.
For the Masters,
but the U.S. Open I think got canceled. The PGA Championship got canceled. The British Open I think got canceled. Like all of it.
Yeah.
Except for the Masters.
Well,
Masters might happen in November.
That would put a humongous emphasis on the Masters, really.
I mean, you're going to get to see the Masters twice in like months.
Well, theoretically,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. I mean, it just all depends. But I was so before we went on the air, I was as I was telling you, I was listening to Governor Cuomo, who was on Howard Stern this morning.
Yeah.
And Howard was kind of asking him, like, realistically, when does this really all end? And Cuomo was like,
Next year.
I think it's 18 months. He's like, because I think until we have a vaccine that definitively can kill this thing, he's like, I don't think we're going to have a true normalcy until that point. Yeah. So, you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know if you got the emails with the schools and everything like that too.
Oh, of
how
course.
They were like, they just came out and they were like, well, now we are not going to be back until the earliest is May 20th.
May 20th.
Like, it's not happening this year. I understand where they're coming from. They have to go with the protocols and everything that are put in place, and they can't but.
Let's just not even bother with talking about kids going back to school this year. The real question is, will schools open up again in September? That's the question.
The other thing I want to talk about.
I really don't. I'm sorry, I don't see it.
I don't see it either. But the good news is that they'll have plenty of time to really iron out a lot of these issues because they're going to have a summer to do it. So, the teachers and everything like that, they're going to probably they're going to have to be paid a little overtime and stuff like that because they're going to have to work more in the summer than they usually do to make sure that they have the infrastructure to be able to go forward just in case. Now, the other issue here is how does this affect education going forward?
Right.
That's a topic that I could talk about for hours as well, because I think that, this is going to be one of those things that is going to affect higher learning, college and even after college, getting those master's degrees and everything like that. You're going to see a lot more people doing online school. And it's going to be crazy. How the world is going to change is a topic that you could talk about for hours when it comes to this, because there's so many different things that could change. Now, Damien said he's right. Until the vaccine exists, every time we relax the recommendations for social distancing, it's going to flare up again. There's no built-in immunity.
Yeah, and I'll add on to that too by saying we don't even know, just because even if you get it and recover from it, we don't even necessarily know if that means you can get it again, because we don't know if those antibodies that you build up will actually prevent you from getting it multiple times. Like,
Right.
there's no, because there are some people who apparently have tested positive for it twice, but they're also saying that could be because it never really left their system to begin
Yeah.
with. So
They could still be carriers and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I just so what's Damien said. I've seen estimates that a model of 2 months of stay at home, 1 month back out in the world, rinse and repeat would be viable. Clint said, but the virus is decaying daily. Well, I mean, you are starting to see, I think, a flattening too. I mean, we're seeing it a little bit.
Still crazy.
Connecticut is scary. I mean, this state has been hit hard. Well, we are still fourth, as far as I know, we're still the fourth per capita in the country. I mean, we obviously don't have the most cases, but per capita, we are very high. A lot of that, of course, is because of Fairfield County and New Haven counties, because let's be honest, most of those people live in those counties, work in New York, or a lot of them do, and I think that's, because we're staying at home, stay away from each other. Clint, as soon as we stop it, it will come back with a force. That's what concerns me too. If we let up, if we relax any of these, any of this quarantining that we have in place, I get worried too that we'll relax it, and then we'll be right back at square one. That's what scares me.
Christine and I were talking about this on our walk yesterday, because obviously we've been doing lots of walks lately. There's not much else you can do. So we've been walking up and down our street. And this is a topic that Christine and I were talking about. Damien brings up, my big social question is this.
The handshake?
Does the handshake become a relic of the past? Yeah, it's gone.
Well, if you're like myself, or I know like Timmy Tim, as Timmy Tim put it, I don't know if Timmy Tim is watching us, but as he put it to me the other day, in Fauci we trust. If you believe what Dr. Fauci is saying, yeah, handshake is gone. I will tell you personally, I mean, you know me, I'm a hugger. I'm a personal guy. I mean, I don't feel like I get into people's personal spaces, but I also feel like that's a tradition that just has to go away. I mean, and I hate to say that. It's really so, because I'm like I said, like I'm a hugger too. But I think we
brothers don't shake hands.
Right. But I think we gotta. I think there are some things that we have to stop doing.
The hugs, the kisses,
the other thing that I wonder about going in, like, long term now, like
the air high five, that should be brought in.
The air high five. Listen, I'm all for the bow.
Yeah.
I think the bow is a beautiful tradition. I'm all for it. Why not? It's lovely. It's lovely. It's no contact. Yeah, sure. I mean, why not? I think it's nice. No, don't put your.
I can
mouth.
do that. It's not like I'm rubbing your face and then doing it.
Don't touch your face. I'm just saying. Yeah, I do think the handshake needs to go away. I'm in agreement with Fauci on that one. There's not a lot that guy says that I probably would disagree with at this point. So
he's clearly the smartest man in the room.
And he is
having those conferences.
And I think we were talking about this before we went on too. Like, look, it is a fait accompli at this point that Trump is going to fire him. The fact that Trump is retweeting posts about, hashtagging fire Fauci, it's obvious that guy's going to lose his job. Now, I know a lot of people think, myself included, that seems like a national disaster. You know what? I'm starting to think maybe it would be for the best, because then Fauci could really go anywhere, do anything, say whatever he wants, be completely unhinged. And I'm not just saying go out there and
he could go to all the fake media, like CNN, and
he could go. Well, he does go on CNN anyway.
And New York Times,
but he can, right? Yeah, all of our great institutions, all of our great media institutions that are apparently terrible. Yeah, but I like that. I don't mind that, Damien. That's not bad. Live long and prosper.
I can't.
But no, it's that's not your thing.
I can do it. It's just tough.
Don't feel bad. I can't do it with my left hand, which is weird. But I can my right hand easily. I don't know why.
Almost.
But I think why are I don't know. These guys I think are having a conversation of their own here.
Yeah, they're going. They're all in. They're talking.
But I just I I would like to see, maybe it is in the best interest of the country if Fauci does get fired, which I know sounds stupid, but maybe we need more exposure for him. Maybe he needs to get out in the open more, and he can be completely untethered and unhinged if he's away from Trump. Because, I feel like he's trying right now to toe the line a little bit but it's tough because he's constantly having to correct Trump too. So it's like, what does he do? Like, I can't lie to the American public, but at the same time, if I lose my job, maybe my daily exposure with the White House, with these clowns that they put on TV every day at the White House is going to be lessened, and maybe that hurts the country. I think he's trying to think that way. Yeah, it's tough. This is a tough line for him to walk because you're dealing with the most unhinged human being on the face of the planet right now, and you have to answer to that guy, and your fear of losing your job isn't necessarily because you're worried about losing your job in the financial sense. I think we all know Fauci will be completely fine if Trump fires him. But what you are losing is the daily exposure that we, I think, as a country feel we need from him. Because he seems to be the quote-unquote voice of reason right now. And we need his voice. And because Trump just wants to press the mute button on anybody that opposes him. And that is outrageously dangerous. So dangerous.
All right, let's move on from we talked about that long enough. It was talking about MLB, and it's
we need to get let's get back to that.
So, we don't really. I mean, we kind of did. I mean, we both think it's not ideal.
Yeah, it's just
it's not feasible, really.
No, it's just not.
Some economists and some other social people that are out there have said that it could work. Of course it could.
Here's what I would ask Major League Baseball officials.
Likely not.
Here's what I will ask a Major League Baseball official. Can you guarantee me that not one player, manager, personnel, media member, anybody involved anywhere with any of these games is not going to get COVID-19? Can you make me that guarantee? You cannot. And therefore the answer is you can't.
And then you also have the other issue is that now you're putting a lot of people at harm's risk, in harm's way, because you have a lot of managers. Not a lot. I would say half the managers are probably ones at risk. They're over 60. Those are the high risk guys, like Joe Madden.
Yeah.
You think he's going to want to go and do this, and what if he gets it? And because there's a contained outbreak,
right?
Not cool. You can't do it. I just don't think you can do it. I think we're looking 2021 now. That's the next season of baseball.
I think you have to, and that's going to be probably a delayed start.
Yeah. My father-in-law and I were kind of talking about it, and kind of like, he was like, the one thing I do really miss. He's like, I miss listening to baseball, like in the background and all that stuff. Like he's like, there's only so many times you can watch the Yankees win the '96 World Series.
I was on the phone yesterday with my father-in-law, and then I FaceTimed later in the day with my mom, and my uncle was there. And in both of those conversations, I was like, God, I miss baseball. I really do. I mean, baseball is like my first love. I mean, I miss baseball immensely, and it sucks. But, what choice do we have? This is what it is. We got to get through it before we can get back to any semblance of normalcy. Now, do you think we should use this to segue into the movie theater discussion? Because I think this one is kind of up there with that. All right, well, I'll start it. I'll start it off. So this again, I was talking with my father-in-law on the phone for quite a while yesterday morning. Mm-hmm. And it was beautiful here in Connecticut. So I was actually outside, like just walking around in my front yard, just getting some fresh air, which it just felt good to fill my lungs up with, outside fresh air.
Yeah. We've been doing like 1 or 2 walks a day. Obviously that's not going to happen today.
Yeah. So and we have like I don't know if you know what guinea hens are, but we have guinea hens that basically show up in our yard every day, usually a huge flock of them, 15, 16 of them sometimes at a time. And they are like the most unintimidated creatures I've ever seen. Like, oops. But they're like, they are not afraid of you. They will come pretty close to you too. and we're just like walking around. The guinea hens are like out in the yard. They're getting the ticks. They're actually great. They are great animals. First of all, if you have chickens, they protect the chickens. They warn the chickens about predators, and they eat tons of ticks. It's actually pretty awesome. Anyways, so we were having the discussion, and I said, the one thing I'm really worried about, and that I think may never fully come back, is the movie theater experience. Just think about it. Okay, on any given day at a movie theater, all right, any single theater, you have probably 7 to 10 showings of the same movie, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not quite that. Maybe 6 or 7, something like that.
I would say anywhere from 4, because sometimes they do like 2 or 3 showing, but like anywhere from like 2 to
it also depends on the
15,
length of the movie. Yeah. So but in any one theater, you probably have 5 to 7 different asses sitting in the same seat in every single movie theater per day. Mm-hmm. I have to ask the question.
How can they clean them? Yeah.
Look, could you go in listen, I'm sure you know as well as I do. You can go to a movie theater and sometimes the floors aren't even swept in between showings, much less seats being wiped down with Lysol.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I hate, and the last thing I think, like, you don't want too much hyperbole at a time like this, and you don't want to overreact, but let's just think about, from a movie theater perspective, where you've got all those people in the theater on a daily basis, and so many different people, handprints everywhere. How do you clean it all? How does the movie theater, as we once knew it, come back to normal? I don't know that it does. Now, I do want to talk about the home movie thing with the video on demand, because I think that is going to play an extremely big role going forward in all of this. But because right now, obviously, we're getting that experiment. The only thing that kind of pisses me off about this, and I realize the reason why it's not going to happen, because the movie theaters will freak if they start reporting the numbers of that, because the movie theaters are specifically said you are not to report. Like, the studios are saying we can't have those numbers reported, because I think they want to be sure that this is not successful. The movie theater industry doesn't want to die. Mm-mm. And then you brought up a question too of, like, what if movie theaters have to just go away and we have to transition away from that? Then what do we charge for movies on demand? Do we make them all rent only, and then for a little while, and then the ability to buy them, so that, the theaters can double dip, so they can get the rent money and then the purchase money? Do you tier it in a way so that it's like, oh, okay, well, you can rent it for, X amount of time and it will cost you this, or you could buy it outright right from the beginning, but it's going to cost you $50 just to buy it.
I think it's like more than that.
Right from the beginning. Yeah, it could.
I think if you're looking at buying it right out the gate, I think you're looking at probably somewhere along the lines of $100, maybe more. And then if you're looking at renting it for a day, it's probably still going to cost you about $30 to $40, because they want to make up the money that normally you'd be going to see it with a bunch of other people. So if they have to price in the people that are going to be renting it at their house and having several people over to watch the movie. So they have to price it in.
Right.
Because, you just have to. So I think that they're going to have to do something like that, and that's going to be interesting. It's going to be like a pay-per-view kind of.
Here's the question I have for you: are movie theaters going to come back?
I think yes, but I think it's going to be different.
Are they going to have to reconfigure movie theaters again to now keep?
You're not going to have as many chains. I think that there are going to be some consolidation. There's going to be some that are going to die. AMC. I don't know if I was talking about this on air or off air, but like Damien even bring back drive-in theaters. I can't remember if I said that on air or not, but that's something that I said that they could possibly do. Start doing more drive-in theaters, and they're just going to have a lot less screens. Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be tough. Like,
I'm fine with the drive-in theater coming back.
It's not. It's almost the same.
Not ideal, but
it's almost the same though as like watching it at your house. Like,
yeah, right. Yeah, right. It is.
No, you might have better speakers because you're listening to it in your car speakers.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
Like, you're not.
But it would be
the whole theater experience was sitting next to people, like at a sports event, and like you're all cheering, all sad or happy at the same time, and it's just it elevates it, which is This is going to be very, very different. It's going to be weird. It's going to be very weird.
Yeah.
I do enjoy watching movies at home. Like I just actually watched a couple of movies over the last several days.
We did Trolls. We watched Trolls.
Nice. I watched Charlie's Angels, the
Oh,
new
yeah.
one.
I couldn't
And
get through the first 5 minutes of that. I struggled.
I thought it was good. I mean,
Was it?
yeah, I thought it was entertaining. It wasn't great. Elizabeth Banks had come out and was talking about how like she was the director of the movie and how she was like, this is a woman like this is a woman-led film, a woman-directed film. Like people need to go out and support this and And
Yeah.
then she was mad at the industry, basically saying like, you guys aren't going to see this movie because it's and it's a women-led, and now we're not going to get as many women-led and women directors and stuff like that because you're not going to see this. Like I was like, well, you need to direct a better movie. Like I'm a fan of the other Charlie's Angels ones with Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu. I thought both of those movies were entertaining and fun.
I liked both of those movies.
They were entertaining and fun.
Yeah.
They weren't great movies, but they were entertaining. And
Yes.
that was the problem with this one, is it was okay. That's the reason why it didn't make any money. Wasn't a good movie. You should have done a better job directing. And when you watch this movie, you could see how a better director, because she's a newer director, you could see how a better director could have made this a better film. Now, one, I don't really particularly love the cast in it either. I liked Kristen Stewart. I thought she was fine.
Yeah.
And the girl who plays Jasmine in Aladdin, I can't remember what her name is. She was also in like the Power Rangers movie. She's been in a bunch of failed movies,
She's very attractive.
But she was good. She was good too. Elizabeth Banks was okay. There was the other woman that was in it. I don't know who she is. I thought she wasn't good. She added nothing to the movie. Her character.
Who did Elizabeth Banks play? Was she Bosley?
She was. Do you
The
want me
female.
to? I can't
Oh
really.
yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, I don't care.
All right. So if nobody cares, there are many Bosleys.
Oh, okay.
This is like the newer version of Charlie's Angels.
So
where,
was she a Bosley?
yes, she is a Bosley.
Okay. All right.
And there is a kind of a teetering back and forth if she's good or bad in the movie. And she used to be a Charlie's Angel.
Yeah.
So there's a thing that goes on there. It's not that surprising. You can kind of figure it out pretty quick.
Yeah.
But it was okay. It
So
was
let me-
entertaining enough. Like I sat there and watched the whole thing. It was kind of like, oh, that was all right.
I
Like,
want
I'm glad I didn't
to.
watch it in the theater.
I want to get back to a comment that Damien just made. So he said local theaters will go away, big chains will survive, but never be what they were. So here's what I would ask.
AMC is almost out.
Here's what I would follow up
They're
with.
already filing for bankruptcy, I believe.
Would you and anybody watching,
Their margins are smaller than grocery stores.
would anybody who's listening or watching this feel legitimately safe going to a movie theater anymore?
In the next 6 months? No.
No, I mean in general. I don't know that I could. Even if there is a vaccine out there that wipes this thing from the planet, I still feel like there's going to be a lot of culture shock.
I bet they remove a third of the seats.
That's
help
what I
social
was talking about
distancing.
earlier about configuring movie theaters to make this. But again, see, here's the problem. That's fine, and that is probably something that will happen. But you also have to consider there need to be some incredibly strict cleaning protocols in between movies.
But if that does happen, prices of movie tickets are going up.
Oh, without a doubt. Well, of course they're going to have to go up because now you're going to have 2/3 less seats, and you're going to have all these cleaning supplies that you're going to need. Yeah, which is again, that's going to turn people off. I know it was funny. So the comment I made to my father-in-law yesterday, as I said, I always thought that the thing that I was about to tell him would happen, but I never thought it would happen in my lifetime. Now I believe it is going to happen in my lifetime. And that is that I think we are going to reach a point where the movie theater goes away and video on demand is the future of the industry. And I never thought that would happen in my lifetime. Now I believe it's almost a certainty.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll come back. I think it'll come back.
And listen, this goes for sports too.
I think you're only going to have, like, I think you're going to have like a situation where AMC, like I said, I don't remember if I talked about this off air or on air, but like, I think you're going to have a situation where AMC comes and they end up getting bought out by like someone like Amazon or Disney or something like. But like, does Disney want to take on that? Like, just to be able to put their movies out on the big screen, do they want to take on that kind of risk with that low margin? Do they want to do that? Like, their margins are like 1%. Like, that is so narrow. They can't survive stuff like this unless they have done a good job on the books.
Well, here's the other.
Is obviously having a big time issue. Like they're already hiring bankruptcy lawyers and all that stuff to because they're going to have to file. Like this isn't that and I don't know about Regal, which is another big one. Yeah. The other one, the one that I love, which is the Cinemark.
Cinemark. I have
the
$9.95 or
me too.
I think it's $10.90, whatever it is. Yeah, I have that. That's gonna,
Yeah. Stinks, but
yeah,
it's crazy. Let's see. Damien says, problem is with the pandemic will go away, but how long before the next one? There's some fascinating and terrifying research about the correlation between warmer global temps and more pandemic threats.
Mm-hmm. The only thing that, I mean, if there's I hate saying silver linings because there's no silver linings when literally hundreds of thousands of people are dying.
Yeah.
But in some good ways, this planet is resetting itself a little bit because so many people are staying indoors and we're not polluting the environment as much. And like nature is coming back. Yeah.
And what?
Nature is coming back.
You see Christine was telling me about it yesterday. My wife, she was telling me about how they have already noticed a considerably less amounts of smog in California.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's insane. And it hasn't been that long.
No.
I understand lots of companies file for bankruptcy, but who's going to want to go into that margin? Like, and are you going to be able to get out of that? Like, if you're hasn't
the idiot in chief filed for bankruptcy multiple times?
Yes, but it's different. It's different because Trump had leverage. Yeah. AMC doesn't have leverage.
Yeah.
Like he had leverage against other banks. Like you can loan me more money, or I'm just not going to pay you.
Yeah.
Like he had the leverage there because he had so much debt that he had, and he was able to hide some of his money. Like there is issues with that. AMC on the other hand doesn't have any leverage, particularly after this pandemic. Like what business is going to want to go in and bail them out? And what can they see in the future?
This also kind of trickles into the sports conversation as well. How does sports come back?
And that's something we do want to talk about.
Because that's an even bigger, and I think that should be a separate conversation. That's an even bigger scale. So
because this is,
there's no social distancing there.
Nope.
Because even if you reconfigured,
embrace each other.
Yeah, even if you reconfigured every single stadium to like have separation of seats, first of all, that will never happen. And second of all, that doesn't change the fact that you still have thousands of people going into a stadium and, standing in concession lines next to each other, rubbing,
grabbing the same ketchup, so much stuff.
Toys R Us was on the way back before the pandemic hit. Yeah, that sucks. I know, and I miss Toys R Us so much.
Toys R Us actually shouldn't have much of an issue. I mean, this is one of those things that Hasbro has been killing it. People have been ordering tons of games, and toys to keep their kids happy during this time.
Does it seem like one of the things this thing is doing is shifting us back to the past a little?
A little bit.
I mean, and is that such a bad thing in certain ways? I mean, in some ways it's not great, but
it's different. It's definitely different. I mean, I don't know. This whole thing's strange. It's all weird. It's weird. It's a good thing that we do this because I miss seeing people's faces.
I know.
Like we go out for social distant walks with like my in-laws and stuff like that, and you stand 6 to 10 feet away and you just kind of chat and discuss, but you get to see their faces, and which is nice.
Yeah. You know what was nice yesterday? Like I said, we're out.
Damien, they filed for bankruptcy, but their margin of error, their margin was higher than the movies. Movie theater had, and there was also, Toys R Us didn't have any other competition. There was Target and Walmart. That was it, but they're not toy stores. There's no KB Toys anymore, even if there is, it's so small. It's different. It's totally different. It's a different situation. It'd be like, it'd be like Stop and Shop or Kroger's or something like that getting incredibly, which could happen, incredibly taken out. But Costco and BJ's and all these other places, even BJ's might go under, who knows? All these businesses that are, their revenues, their margins, they're so slim that who would want to take on that risk? Yeah. When there's other options. Like if Regal stays in business, why would somebody want to come out? Regal would just buy some of the movie theaters and just put their name on it.
Scoop up the locals and
at cheap. And
yeah,
if movies continue the way we go, it's just different. It's totally different. In my opinion, anyway. So as far as all that stuff goes, like it's a weird time. But I'm glad to see your face. I'm glad to interact and have these conversations between Damien and Clint and all that kind of stuff. It's nice to do this.
Yeah.
It's more cathartic than ever.
Yeah. I mean, I did a happy hour with some of the guys again the other night. We were on Zoom for a few hours, drank a couple of beers, just was,
How'd it go? How'd the beer go?
Good. Oh yeah, I'm fine.
Great.
Yeah, I have not had a flare up there for quite a while.
That's excellent.
I hope I didn't jinx myself.
Flare ups. That's like that.
But I drink a ton of water too. So
should I do the wheel?
Is this to determine what we're gonna do next week?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's.
And then we'll get into the one we were going to talk about this week.
Well, all right. So why don't we spin the wheel for next week? Yep. Let everybody know what we're going to talk about, and then we'll go into our category for this week. Now, read off all the categories.
So all the categories. All right, here we go. Hold on. Let me go to my wheel. All right. We have the advocate's argument, and that is for Jaws. And what the advocate's argument would be is...
Oh, right.
You're not the devil's advocate because it's not something you're just
but it would
taking the other side of. It's basically you are forced to take something that you either really believe in or don't believe in and argue the other side.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
So this would be on Brian. Brian loves Jaws.
Yes.
And he would have to argue how Jaws is a terrible movie. That's what he would have to argue. So
as I told you, I could argue very easily.
Yes, yeah, because you know the movie so well. So I'm looking forward to see that. Now we also have Rotten Tomatoes. How is this actually? And then we have another one, Rotten Tomatoes. How is this only? And then we would take those movies and we'd be like, how is this actually 78% on Rotten Tomatoes when it should be 2% garbage, and things like that. And then we also have the Mount Rushmore of Spielberg movies.
I like that
one. That'll be exciting because he's such a great director.
Yeah.
We can add other Mount Rushmores if you have any ideas on there. We can do that. We can put that in there. Recast a famous movie. That could be fun. I know that you and I have discussed recasting Jaws before.
Well, I've done the Jaws one.
Yes, yeah.
Which I feel I would.
We could.
I mean, I don't know that I would do that.
We would have to figure out the movie that we'd want to recast, though.
Yes,
that's what we have to put in there. So
so that we both come with different casts.
So let's come up with one. Well, recast a famous movie. What movie do you want to do? Recast a famous movie. Let's do a comedy this time.
Okay.
Or anything. Oh, you know what? How about recasting?
How about Animal House?
Ooh, that could be a good one.
I love Animal House. It's one of my favorite comedies.
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs would be fun.
That could be fun.
That would be okay. I think either of those are pretty good. Animal House, Spaceballs. They're different.
Let's do Animal House.
Animal House? Okay. I mean, because Animal House to me is still the greatest comedy ever. So if you want to start at the top.
A famous movie. Recast.
That's tough, too. There are some pretty iconic characters in that movie.
All right. I got Animal House in there.
I mean, it's not just Bluto or Flounder or Otter. I mean, it's, Dean Wormer. How are you recasting? Who's Dean Wormer?
All right.
I mean, there are some seriously awesome characters.
We have to limit it a little bit. To
I think
something like that.
I think
the main characters, right?
Yeah, I think what we would do is we would spin the wheel. If we landed on that, we'd pick the movie, and then we would say, okay, it's got to be these specific 4 or 5 characters.
Okay.
You don't want to go 10 deep. It could get out of control.
Take forever.
Honestly,
I think you should just pick 5 characters.
I wouldn't even do Kevin Bacon's character. 4? He was a little too far down the totem pole in that
4?
one. Yeah,
4
4
characters
or 5.
or 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
I think we should pick a number.
A 5, just 5.
5. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
5.
Recast movie is 5 characters. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see what else we have here. We have recast movie. Yeah. Then we have strangest place you've gone to the bathroom.
God.
We have what sport would be the funniest to add mandatory alcohol to?
What sport would be the funniest to add mandatory? God,
Like
bowling.
the players would have
I
to
would
drink.
love to fucking see bowlers drunk.
The-
That would
yeah.
just be because eventually somebody's getting a ball thrown at them, like a
What-
shot put.
What two normal things become really weird if you add them back to back? So that's the list right now.
Say that again. What 2 things become really
weird if you put them back to back? Like if you do them back to back.
Can you give me an example of like what that would be? I'm trying to visualize that.
So what 2 things would become really weird? Like really weird things, I guess. You gotta just get it like,
I'm trying to
back-to-back
think of
things. We'd have to take some time to think about it. Like I haven't thought about this yet because we haven't had it on the list yet.
Okay.
But it could be really weird things, like that could happen. Then you put them
Okay.
back to back and you're kind of like, yeah, that doesn't fit.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to flesh that one out a little bit more.
Yeah.
'Cause
I think it could end up being fun though. I think
could if I could get a grasp of what it is,
I
the
think
concept. I
Yeah,
think.
but like the 2 things that you normally wouldn't go back to back. That you would do
Okay.
that wouldn't normally go back to back.
Like if you were to take like if you had diarrhea and then immediately just went and ate Mexican food.
Yeah, I mean I could see that. Or like, you went to the bathroom, just to keep it on the disgusting tip, went to the bathroom and wiped, and instead of washing your hands, you brushed your teeth.
Oh, that's a perfectly disgusting example. Okay, now I got it. I think I'm good now. Okay, all right. Okay. Like Joe Pesci. Okay. Yeah, all right. No, I like it. I
My
like
cousin
that.
Vinny, that could be a good one to do.
Oh, to recast my cousin Vinny.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Marissa Tomei could probably play herself too.
She certainly could. And so could Pesci. And so could Ralph Macchio. What the fuck's he doing? He's filming karate. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do love the Cobra Kai stuff. So
Yeah, I haven't watched it. At all. Although I did see Set It Up on Netflix with Zoe Deutsch and Glenn Powell and Taye Diggs and Lucy Liu.
yeah.
I recommend that. That was a good rom-com.
Yeah, see, Damien's got a good one there. Take a shower and immediately work out. Yes.
Yeah,
Total, like,
exactly.
why
Kind of
not?
weird.
You've completely defeated the purpose of
Yes,
your shower.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, good. I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
And
That will
I
get
also
the
like
creative juices
the
to flow.
shameless plug for face-to-face class time through Zoom has been great. I like it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I bought shares of Zoom a while ago.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying that.
Yep.
But anyway, so yeah, let's get into the conspiracy theories.
Did you? So we got to spin the wheel for next week.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Gotta itch my nose. All right, ready?
Yes.
Well, I gotta get in the camera here. Where's the camera? All right.
Well, I can see it perfectly there, although I can't read anything. But yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Tell me when to stop.
Stop. Okay, and it landed on. I mean, I can't see it.
Yeah,
It's just
that one's really tiny. What 2 normal things become really weird if you do them back to back?
okay.
All right.
There it is.
So now we got to
Okay.
add something new onto the wheel because we're taking something off.
Right.
So
Okay.
next week, what 2 things become really weird when
Well, I guess we get to
You.
see those creative juices flowing early. I got a week to
Back
think about that.
to
That's
back.
funny.
Well, we can, like I said, you said you were off this week, so we could come back earlier this week. You could do another
I
show
am
this
off.
week.
We could do a Friday show.
We could. So let's we'll toss it. We'll toss it around, and we'll let you know. So we'll. I like that one. I think that one could be fun.
That is fun. Okay.
That one could be fun because
I needed some examples, but I needed some examples, but
Yeah.
now it's fun.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into the conspiracy theories. So the conspiracy theories are the conspiracy theories you'd like to start. And I think this could really lend itself to which conspiracy theories do you like that are out there that you think are funny as well. So if you have any of those, go ahead and throw them out there. If there's any ones that you would like to start,
Oh,
go ahead.
I want to start with one that's out there already that I think is fun. Because my conspiracy theory
I'm going to go into one after this. That's also that I just find so hilarious. Go ahead.
Mine is that aliens are actually humans, but time travelers. UFOs. UFOs are time traveling humans.
Well, that's pretty cool.
That's one of my. I love that one.
I
love that one. It's
like
just
Men in Black.
Yeah, pretty much. But
like
yes, that I like that one. I think that one is highly entertaining.
I think that's good.
I mean, because you know me, I love UFO stuff, and I'm a big UFO believer.
Yes.
I think even that one's a little too far out there for me, but I like the theory though. I think it's funny.
All right. So the one that I like a lot is the one where LeBron James left Cleveland because Delonte West slept with his mom.
That reminds me. You probably know the Cal Ripken, Kevin Costner story.
Yes. The love
that
triangle.
Is
they had a love story or something like that. It almost ruined the streak or whatever.
That is one of my favorite conspiracy theory sports stories. It actually might be my favorite one. It's because as soon as you mentioned that, I was like, oh my God, that reminds me of the Cal Ripken, Kevin Costner thing. Which, by the way, if you would like, okay. So for those who do not know that one, I will give you as brief as Cliff Notes a version of that as I can.
Before that, Damien says the world is flat and the Earth as a globe is a conspiracy by the world's elite to fool you because reasons.
Flat earthers, man. Okay, I'll give you a very brief synopsis of so Cal Ripken was he was not in the middle of the streak, but he was pretty far along in the streak. The story goes that Cal Ripken is driving to the ballpark. We're getting close to the end here. He's getting close to tying Gehrig. And he's driving to the park and he realizes, and this is where the story loses me already, like almost from the beginning, but I still love it. But the story goes that he's driving to the park and he realizes, oh shit, I left my glove at the house. I don't have my glove. I got to go back and get the glove. Goes back to the house to get the glove, walks in. His wife is there banging Kevin Costner when he gets back. Costner and Cal Ripken get into a fight. A pretty bad knockdown, drag out affair kind of fight. Costner leaves. Ripken, doesn't. He's like, I don't have time to argue. He's like, I don't even have time to discuss this with you right now. I gotta get to the parks. Costner leaves. He's arguing with his wife, but he's like, I don't really have time to get into this. He drives to the park, and he goes to he goes to I think the manager and even ownership, and he's like, I just caught my wife having an affair with fucking Kevin Costner of all people, and I am in no shape mentally or even physically to play because I was just in a fight. He's like, I understand we're in the middle of the streak here, but I can't play tonight. I cannot play baseball. I have to sit this game out. And of course, ownership is like, yeah, no, we can't have that happen. There's way too much riding on this. So here's what we're going to do. So now now transition scene to you being a fan sitting in the park. This is for a night game. And you're sitting in the park, and all of a sudden, the lights go out in the stadium. Boom. The lights go out at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Now, I don't know if the whole story was that. Now, this is why this is a conspiracy theory, because this part did actually happen. The lights did go out while fans were waiting in the stadium for the game to start, and they had to go home because they couldn't get the lights back on. So the theory, of course, here is the great conspiracy theory is that the Orioles were not going to allow the streak to end because Kevin Costner was banging, Cal Ripken Jr.'s wife. So they literally shut the stadium down so that Ripken's streak could stay intact and he would not have to play that game. Wow. And then they could, go back to normal the next game after Cal had some time to clear his head and lick his wounds a little bit, which of course, did happen, and the streak did continue, and he did break the streak to become, the new Iron Horse in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And that is got to be my favorite sports conspiracy theory.
That is a good one.
I think it's absolutely tremendous, and there are parts of it that are plausible.
Well, yeah.
It's just not outlandish enough to make you think like, no, there's just no way. I could see something like that happening. Do I believe it ultimately? No. But could it happen? Yeah, sure. It could happen.
Cool. I like
it. Now it's time for us to get onto our actual conspiracy theories that we want to force into the universe. Now I've done a lot of talk.
Another one that I really like too is the one that they say that, Michael Jordan's retirement.
Yes.
It was actually a suspension from the NBA. That was a good one too. Anyway, the one that I like, the one that I want to put out there is the President Trump is actually a clone. He clones himself over and over again, and each time he gets duplicated, he gets dumber, kind of like in Multiplicity.
The whole copy of a copy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what we're stuck with. We're stuck right now with the one that is like the last guy, with wearing the airplane goggles and fake news. That's mine. That's my conspiracy theory.
It's possible. I can't rule it out. Now I'm going to give you one that's probably completely impossible.
Okay.
My conspiracy theory is that Keanu Reeves is actually the second coming of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And here's why I want to believe it. And here's why I want to push it. There's a number of things. First of all,
the hair, he just like basically
the hair, the beard. There is actually somewhat of a Jesus-y look going on. If you prescribe to the basically the essential.
There's going to be a new conspiracy theory if Keanu Reeves dies today because.
Will there be though? I mean, Easter just happened. The question is, 3 days later, is he going to come back? That's the question. Okay, so that's why I also wanted to do this one because it's very timely too, because Easter was just yesterday.
It's true.
And in the Christian faith, Easter is by far our most important holiday. And there are a couple things here. One, yes, if Jesus were to come back, I think he would probably try and pick a body type and a look that would be similar to the one that we think he may have looked like if you go by a lot of the artwork and the pictures and all that.
If he wants to come back he should probably come back as Chris Hemsworth, though.
Also, hold on. There's more here, too. First of all, there's more here, though. Keanu Reeves. There are 5 letters in his first name, 6 letters in his last name. Jesus Christ. 5 letters in the first name, 6 letters in the last name. Here's another thing. If you notice, Keanu Reeves is a man of very few words. He's very mysterious. He doesn't say a lot. Now, Jesus, from what you hear, did, of course, speak to a lot of crowds. But also, though, Jesus in scriptures was also very a man of few words, especially when he had a lot of conversations with people who were supposedly trying, like Pontius Pilate. All the Pontius Pilate conversations, they're like really one-sided. If you go, now I'm getting a little bit biblical here, but I'm trying to push my point. Okay. All right. Now, here's the other one too. This is one of my favorite things about Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves acts in public, especially with people, the way that I think Jesus would have. First of all, now not that Jesus took pictures or selfies or anything like that, but when Keanu Reeves takes a picture, especially with a woman, and actually I think just with anybody.
I did hear like the Last Supper was done with a selfie stick.
Keanu Reeves does not put his hands on people. He will put, like if he's got his hand around a person, his hand is like this, but is not actually touching the person. He does not touch people. He's very passive in
social distancing.
He's a social distancing kind of guy. I think Jesus, Jesus was a pretty passive person. Now, I don't know what Keanu Reeves' carpentry skills are, but I would like to find out. But that might be, if maybe somebody could Google that. If Keanu Reeves has any background in carpentry, I will be. And then the last thing, here's the one thing we know about Keanu Reeves. He's an extremely giving, very selfless human being. He's had a lot thrown at him too. the stories about him are unbelievable. The just the goodwill and the charitable nature of him. And here's the other thing: it's really low key. Like he doesn't want the recognition for it.
Right.
You know, Jesus may have cured people of leprosy, but he certainly didn't. He wasn't out there on Twitter like, "Yo, I just cured this woman of leprosy." You know, let's
praise me.
Let's right. I just think there are a lot of favorable comparisons to Keanu Reeves and Jesus Christ. And I think it's possible that I could push that theory out there.
I think you could get one of President Trump's clones to definitely believe that.
Maybe. What is this here? Keanu once gave up his seat for a lady on the subway. That alone makes him a better person than 95% of New Yorkers. I say that as a former New Yorker. I mean, just think about it for a second. I mean, listen, we're talking about ridiculous conspiracy theories that we would like to believe are true and that we would like to push out there into the ethos, and this would be mine. That Keanu Reeves is actually the second coming of Jesus Christ.
I dig it.
Here's one. All religion and gods, goddesses are real and are dependent on believers to build and maintain power. No, wait, that's the pilot to American Gods. Okay. Again, so anyways, that is my, now a lot of people would say, well, that's sacrilegious, especially for somebody like you who is a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. But you know what?
You had to come up with something.
I had to come up with something, and this was my thing to come up with. Ridiculous, completely unfounded, nothing to actually back it up whatsoever, but there's a few parallels that I can kind of pluck there. So that's mine.
I like it. I think it's good. Now, if you guys have any, go ahead. I mean, I like what Damien's putting out there. That's some good stuff. And then also, I want to move on from the conspiracy stuff. Anything you recommend watching?
Well, I did watch.
This is what we've been doing. I've been playing a lot of Scrabble with my wife.
So we did. Let's see. We did a movie night on Friday with the kids.
Nice. What'd you watch? The Trolls.
We did. Well, Trolls. We just kind of watched throughout the weekend though too. But Friday night, we actually did Knives Out.
Good.
I watched it twice this weekend. That movie is tremendous.
How much? So I need this from you because it was a movie that Christine and I were contemplating because she's a little queasy when it comes to like blood and all that kind of stuff. And like when it comes to like in the movies, she doesn't,
There's one scene.
It's
very quick.
Is it gory?
I would not know.
Early on?
It's so fat. Yeah, first to second third of it. It's literally one scene that's less than a second.
Is it more funny or more intense?
Neither. It's neither. It's just
supposed to be a comedy.
It's just I thought you were talking about the scene.
No. It's just like the overall. Is it more comedy, more intense? Or is it both? Just a good mixture of both?
It's a good mix. It's a real strong mix. That movie was 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. It deserved every bit of that.
All right. I like it. All right. So
that would not qualify as a how is this only or how is this actually. That movie deserves to be 97%. It's tremendous.
Great.
It's tremendous. And I
good to know.
Love Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc. So cool. He had this ridiculous Colonel Sanders accent that was just so it was like bordering on over the top, but it wasn't. It was just really, that movie was so well done. And that cast, which was a who's who cast, really, really meshed well together. Like really perfect. It was just so well done. And then at night, so then later, so that was the first movie that we watched, and Caitlin loved it. And it's PG-13, and I let her watch it, and it was fun. It was cool. And then at night, because as you know, I think I've been trying to really dial it back here in terms of making my kids watch some classic.
Yes.
So I introduced them to Airplane.
Yes.
They loved Airplane.
It's amazing.
Yeah. They loved it.
So classic.
Yeah.
Naked
so those
Gun,
were our
Airplane.
those were our Friday. Those were our and we're going to be watching a lot of movies this week since I'm off. So
Excellent. Are
but
kids
yeah,
off this week or were they last week?
Yeah, that's why I'm off too. I took the week off. I mean, before
My kids were off last week.
I had planned to have this week off, and I was like, I might as well still take it. I'm kind of mentally shot anyway, so
yeah,
I need the.
So I would recommend for you, because we did our Mount Rushmore rom-coms last week.
Yeah.
Highly recommend Set It Up. Netflix. It's on Netflix. Okay. It's with Zoe Deutsch, like I was talking about, or Zoe Deutsch, Glenn Powell, Lucy Liu, Taye Diggs, and Pete Davidson from SNL.
Yeah.
He's in it. He's a small character, but he is hilarious. He plays a gay guy. Mm-hmm. And it's so good. The way he does it is perfect. But the movie is really well done. And if you, I think on Rotten Tomatoes, like the critics gave it like a 92 or something like that, and audience gave it about a 70. And I think it's probably somewhere in between there. Yeah, very well done. I liked it a lot. Yeah, it was good. Highly entertaining. For rom-com like ours. Let's see what we got here. Damien says we've been going through Pixar's catalog with Xander as he's finally old enough to watch a full feature. Yes, that's great. Pixar's also tremendous.
Can't really go wrong with Pixar.
No, but yeah, that is a good one. I'm glad I watched that one last night. The wife picked out 2 movies to watch. It was either that or Wine Country, and we went with Set It Up. So it was a good movie. I like it. For any of our, I know there's a couple. Any of our wrestling fans, I know we have one or two that sometimes tune in. I watched on the WWE Network last night. So Stone Cold Steve Austin does a podcast. He calls it the Broken Skull Sessions because that's his ranch, the Broken Skull Ranch, down in Texas. And Ric Flair was the interview for this one, and it was really good. It was really good. I mean, there's a lot of things that I learned about the Nature Boy and that. What was nice about this too is that Ric Flair was sober for this, and Ric Flair isn't always sober. No. So when he is, though, he's really lucid and he can tell some great stories. So check that out. If you have the WWE Network and you want to watch a good interview and get a lot of wrestling perspective from probably the greatest of all time, that's a great interview to watch. It was really good. I was really impressed with it. There's a lot of actually good things on WWE. A lot of his interviews are good.
You know what? I give Stone Cold Steve Austin a lot of credit. He's grown quite a bit as a podcaster and an interviewer.
As a human being in general.
Oh, he's awesome. He's great. I love his beer too. I still got I think 1 or 2 left in the fridge from the 4-pack that I bought a few weeks ago. So.
And you got a shout out, right?
I did get the Twitter shout out from Stone Cold Steve Austin. He said cheers to me. It was like, that was great. That was great. I've had some good luck on Twitter with celebrities. You know what? And actually, speaking of Twitter, because this got way more response than I thought it would. But I was going through a thread yesterday, and I don't even know how I stumbled upon it. You know how Twitter is. It's just ridiculous. But there, somebody had said, Jose Canseco, this was actually pretty funny. He put a tweet out there. He said, "Happy Easter to everyone except Alex Rodriguez," which I thought was hilarious. But then there was this one guy who responded to Jose Canseco in defense of Alex Rodriguez, and he said, 234 lifetime hitter, salty at the GOAT. And then somebody said, A-Rod is definitely not the GOAT. Yeah. And then the guy said, true Bonds. And then that other guy responded to him, and he said, I think someone has a type. And then I said, the GOAT watching this back and forth, and I included this GIF of the player who I have always believed to be the greatest of all time.
Ruth?
Baseball. No, Willie Mays.
Mays, yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because Willie Mays in the GIF is kind of like going like this. So he's like looking like back and forth. And it sparked a lot of conversation. First of all, the tweet itself from me got 93 likes, which I was kind of surprised about. Mm-hmm. And then people started dropping in. It turned into a kind of a cool conversation. Like people started dropping in, gifts of Jackie Robinson. I see one of Stan Musial. This one was close to my heart because somebody put Ricky Henderson. Mm-hmm. Also, Mickey Mantle, who's my favorite old-time player, and I also believe is in that conversation. Ted Williams, Ruth, Ken Griffey Jr. I think there's a Satchel Paige in here. It was a very – and I tell you what, I mean, I wonder if that is great conversation for us because I think we'll all come at it from different perspectives. I've always been steadfast in that response, just the way as I have with football players. Who is the greatest football player? I still think it's Jerry Rice. Who's the greatest baseball player? I've said for years, I still believe it's Willie Mays. And I would never back down from it, and I would have my reasons for continuing to make the argument. But I think that would be a fun conversation. You know, what if that would be actually a really cool Mount Rushmore, our Mount Rushmore of greatest athletes. But each head has to be from each of the 4 major sports. Now, it would probably be pretty easy on 2 of them. I think most people would say Gretzky and Jordan pretty easily. But then football and I think baseball would be different. I think people would differentiate greatly on that one. Because I think there's just a lot more. I think in hockey and basketball, basketball is going to be the easiest, of course. Who's not going to put Jordan? You might put LeBron, actually, but I mean, I know I would put Jordan, and I know I would put Gretzky for hockey, and then I think you and I might differ maybe on baseball and football. Maybe, I don't know, but I think it'd be an interesting one. What is this?
So Mount Rushmore of sports, and then one athlete
from each sport. Your GOAT from each sport. Yeah, your GOAT from each sport.
Each major sport.
Yeah, each major sport. Yeah.
Now, does golf count?
No, but what I was thinking is we could do a
interchange. Could you pick your sport?
Well, or what I was thinking was we would do 2. We would do one of the 4 major sports, and then we would do another one that would sort of incorporate tennis, golf, and then maybe like two other sports. Like, you could do like college football and college basketball if you wanted. I was thinking we could, that actually would be pretty cool. A GOAT of college football and a GOAT of college basketball, a GOAT of tennis and a GOAT of golf.
I couldn't do that.
Cool. No,
I couldn't do the college sports.
Oh, that's
because
right.
of my disdain for it.
You're disdain for college sports. Well, what else could we do professionally? Soccer. I mean, I don't know enough about soccer, but Pele. I guess that's kind of silly. I don't know. Are there others that we could do besides golf and tennis to fill 2 other slots?
I think
unless you want to just do it like a Mount Rushmore +2 and include golf and tennis in there. That would be sort of breaking the rules of Mount Rushmore, but
it would, yeah.
But I don't mind.
I think you just have to pick your sport and pick your GOAT.
Okay, that's fine. So yeah, if you want to expand it to golf and tennis, that's fine. And maybe that would be a good way to do it because I'll stick to the 4 majors.
Okay.
But you could do golf and tennis and maybe you know what?
Maybe remember that because I can't fit all that on the thing. But
yeah,
Mount Rushmore.
Or if there are ones that you and I definitively agree on off the top, like would you say Jordan and Gretzky in both hockey and basketball?
I'd say Jordan probably.
And would you say Gretzky in hockey or no?
I don't know if I'd choose hockey. If I had to choose hockey, yes, I would say Gretzky.
So let's amend this. Let's, instead of making it the 4 major sports, let's rule those 2 out because I think we're both going to just agree on them. And let's just put golf and tennis in. So we'll say baseball, football, golf, tennis.
Baseball, football, golf, tennis.
They're not the 4 major sports, but we'll just do our GOATs for each of those because I think that could give us an opportunity to have different answers.
Okay. Let me go back in here.
I like that one. Man, this music makes me want to fuck.
Not for kids.
Man, fuck yo kids. Ooh, who's that? There's Robin. Oh, Robin Yount is on first. This is the 1982 World Series that they've got going on here.
MLB, PGA, tennis, and what else?
Golf.
No. So MLB, PGA.
Oh,
tennis,
sorry. And football.
Football. All right. Done.
I suspect we could have different ones for football and baseball. Well, I'm sure we'll have different ones for baseball. I mean, you already know who mine is.
It's true. I do. All right. Thank you guys for watching, listening. We'll try and be back on Friday.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe we'll at some point, maybe do the drinky one. Maybe the drinky discussion one.
Well, maybe if we do it later in the day, yeah.
Yeah, it would have to be later in the day.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that 9:15 in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, whatever time we start. Not doing it that early. It's too early. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, but no, too early.
Yeah.
It has to be after like 8 or something like that.
Yeah. Correct.
All right. Thank you guys for watching, listening. Thank you for tuning in and commenting.
Yeah, we've
Give us a thumbs up if you also are watching it. Yeah, I'm ready to fall asleep. How about this?
Yeah, it's good. Well, we have come to the end of the show, and of course, in the words of the great Tony Stark, part of the journey is the end. But maybe we'll be back on Friday to have a beer and talk a little more. And maybe okay, so our wheel spin category is strange back-to-back bedfellows, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Two things that are normal, but if you put them back to back,
Are
not so great.
not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, not good.
They're weird.
It's not what you want.
It's not what you want. Exactly.
Okay, I want to really think about this.
Yeah, you got to get a couple good ones. Really good ones. You can get some really good
yeah.
ones. This could be like a 15-20 minute discussion with some really good ones. You could get some pretty funny ones in there.
Yeah, I gotta really think this.
And then we could do our Mount Rushmore of those.
Yeah. Oh, I already have one.
Excellent. I can't wait to hear it.
I have one.
All right. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.
Stay classy,
Out.
Athletic Club. Stay safe, everybody.
Have a great week. Stay healthy. Social distance. Stay home.
Stay home if you can, if it is within your power. Like I went out this morning. I had to do the the meal pickup that I told you I do because we do it for multiple families. And even then, I had zero contact with people. Zero. Was not within. I mean, so when you go to the school, they put the food like into your trunk, which you already have opened in cardboard boxes, and then they close the trunk. This is not a joke. I had my rubber, and I didn't touch anybody or wasn't near anybody, and I had the gloves on. I don't have an N95 mask. My wife Melissa found a P95 mask, which I used, but then I put a bandana over that too. So I've got the P95 mask and the bandana over it. I've got the rubber gloves on, and I had goggles. I looked insane.
Yeah, you got to be careful with those masks and your beard because you can still get stuff in there. So having bandana extra protection, good.
Yeah. I just go, and again, like I wasn't even near anybody, and I'm still just like.
The other thing with the gloves, people
out.
have to realize, just because you're wearing gloves, you can't touch things and then touch other things, and then you might as well just use your hands and then just disinfect everything.
So so it was kind of funny, like
touching things and other.
So
like,
people
don't realize that they're touching their keys still, and then putting in their pocket, and then going home and not disinfecting their keys.
So here's what I did too, and this makes absolutely no sense because when you think about it, I didn't. So when I got to the school, they dropped the stuff, they put it in the car, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't touch anyone or anything. Even when I drove off, I still put the hand sanitizer on the gloves. And I'm like, why am I doing this? I didn't even touch anything yet.
Yeah.
Like, that's how out of control I am right now. And how... Yeah, and you're right. I still believe that the best reaction is the overreaction. I'm sorry. No one's going to change my mind about that. That is the smartest thing you could do. Because if in the end, if we come out of this thing and you don't get it, the reason why you will not have gotten it is because you did do just that.
Yep. I agree.
Thanks guys for hanging in. This was like almost, it's like
hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's pretty long. Yeah, but I love it.
That's what she said. It's pretty long.
On that note.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.